Kickstarter challenge, gang. Hello, you. Welcome back to this humble channel. This is Alvaro Cortez Jr., aka Lance Danger. Hello. First of all, I am sorry for missing Boricuas contra Todos last week. As you all know, Wednesday was actually St. Valentine's Day. And aside from that, aside from people spending time with their loved ones or their friends or their families or however you like to spend Valentine, I was pretty sick as a dog. Um, if you didn't know, I live in New York City, and there were 2 snowstorms, over the last 2 weeks that has really wreaked havoc with my sinuses and my throat. So, wasn't feeling particularly great. I was actually losing my voice. I barely have my voice back as it is actually, but I thought, "Let's brave through it. Let's do this. Let's do this challenge." If it was easy, it wouldn't be called a challenge, and this is the Kickstarter challenge, and let's put on that lo-fi. I gotta have my background music on here. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in and for tuning in these past couple of weeks. Just a brief refresher if this is your first time here or if you want to get up to date. This is already the third episode of the Kickstarter challenge that I'm doing here. I wasn't supposed to do live these episodes. I was only going to do like the first one live just to like kick things off. Again, like things have just kind of gone off the rails a little bit behind the scenes. So I've been kind of stuck doing it live these past 2 weeks as well. Hopefully, you guys just don't mind it too much, and hopefully, I'm sounding well through the mic. Check one, check two, mic check one. About to go Beastie Boys up in here. Anyway, little refresher. Week one, I went through a very general overview of what the Kickstarter challenge was, and in case you don't know what it is, it's not like a challenge per se, like an Inktober or 100 days of making comics or what have you. This is just a fun thing that was born out of 3 friends, 3 colleagues, 3 podcasters, three live streamers. Um, with my colleagues Chago and Crazy Knight. Thank you, Juan Martinez, independent illustrator. I am feeling a little better, actually. At least I can talk. Nice sound, bro. Thank you, Chago. That was a cool video, by the way, on Sunday about what to do after you publish your comic and whatnot. And once again, people, go to Chago the Approved Comics. Let me show the comments so you guys can see right there what to look for exactly and go visit his channel. A lot of great information on the business aspect of making comics, and Chago on Tuesdays is doing live streams about his a particular challenge as well. So it's a plethora of great entertainment and learning from all of us here on YouTube. Who needs Udemy? Who needs all these other paying sites? We're giving you like the good shit for free right here, baby. Anyway, um, as I was saying, this is a very general overview on week one of how Chago, Crazy Knight, and myself got together to do this challenge. All of us have our own personal and very particular reasons for doing it. The most common one is getting out of our comfort zone and doing something that we probably wouldn't have done otherwise, and just challenge ourselves to make something new and exciting and fresh that would get our creative juices just pumping through our veins. And we pretty much started that last year, mid last year, around there. We all went through some different levels of things behind the scenes that kind of set back the time frame in which we ideally wanted to do this challenge, but we've hung in there and we've been doing it. The challenge that we put ourselves is that we would come up with brand new ideas, all 3 of us, We would do it all ourselves. In other words, each project is a one man band kind of thing. So it's not like a creative team. I am my own creative team in that sense. And we pretty much the tiers are going to be up to us depending on what we are willing to offer with the product itself. Still, excuse me, I'm still got a little bit of that cough, but once again, it all kind of depends on what we're willing to offer or able to offer to give to anyone that decides to back this challenge. The challenge itself, the goal isn't to like hit the funding goal of the crowdfunding, but to motivate ourselves to do this story. Like, pretty much all of us has said that we will put this story out in one way or another, regardless if it hits the goal or not. This is more of a social experiment between friends and anyone else that would like to join in the party as well. And last week, I gave a little bit more of an overview of why I chose Kickstarter and a little bit more information about my particular story. Let me go ahead and add this here. Kind of been enjoying these little slides in this live, not gonna lie. Slide gang! Kickstarter challenge acts of vengeance, and Kickstarter was chosen particularly for me because once again, I broke fam. I am broke. Broke in the sense that I don't necessarily have like the funds to put in another project that I'm doing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But that's what it kind of boils down to. I know that is not a typo. I just wrote it like that to be pretentious. I don't chalk it up to being dangerous. I broke fam. I don't necessarily want to invest in another project that I'm doing. Um, I've been very fortunate enough that the projects that I do well enough to justify to keep doing them and do like other little side projects on the side as well. But that's kind of what it boils down to. I would like to use Kickstarter not as the main source of revenue, but something that'll complement the production of this comic, especially since I'm doing it on my own. Um, I would like to do it as best to my capabilities. And you guys keep hearing me that I have other projects, so I just wanted to like kind of briefly talk about the other good stuff, like Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord, Truthful Comics Edition. Right now, I'm wrapping up issue number one. This is actually page one of issue number one that I wanted to show you guys real quick. I as most of you know, I already finished the prologue completely. It's done, finished. You guys have been seeing the trailer for it over and over and over again. If you've been to my channel multiple times, that's just my way of hypnotizing you into checking out my damn comic, yo. So this is part of that other good stuff. Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. It's a comic book that I've been doing pretty much since middle school. This is the comic for me. I've been working on this comic for decades. Actually, this October, it's going to be 30 years since I did the very first issue of Rip Pearson, the Mighty Warlord in high school. That is mind blowing right there. You know, to have something like this tag along basically your whole life. Either you're very passionate or you're freaking crazy. And I think I'm a little bit of both, to be honest. But yeah, that is the main thing I'm working on right now, doing the Truthful Comics edition, which is essentially a remaster of the web comics. As I have explained before, the web comic I can't publish it as it is because I lost all the original files because the original artwork was destroyed due to various acts of nature in Puerto Rico, tropical island, in the path of hurricanes and tropical storms constantly. Enough said. And again, a lot of the electronics got damaged, so a lot of the backups I had digitally got destroyed too. Once again, tropical island in the path of hurricanes and tropical storms. Not a great mix. And it's gotten worse as the years gone by. But yeah, I could just pretty much, if I wanted to, I could just print out everything with the resolution from the actual uh, pages of the webcomics that exist online. But the resolution is going to be so bad, it's going to look so blurry that, in my opinion, if someone is going to spend $5, $6 on an independent comic, I want to give the very best I can produce and not feel like I'm robbing someone of their money, giving them something less than what I can do. And since I'm redoing everything from scratch, I decided to just kind of update a little thing here, a little thing there, just, knickknacks that I wish I knew when I first started creating for Pearson the Mighty Warlord. And of course, there's the ongoing webcomic of Red Pearson the Mighty Warlord. Like right there, you kind of see like that little thumbnail sketch page. That's one of the pages that's going to be going live soon on the website and on the web comics and what have you, where I upload my web comics. Uh, Currently, Fred Pearson, the Mighty Warlord, is about to end chapter 27, and that would be like chapter 33, really overall if you count the prologues, epilogues, webisodes, and side stories that are part of the main continuity of these comics. And once again, this is going to be like year 18, I believe, of the web comic. So a lot of content, a lot of work that I'm mixing in, and that's not counting my other web comics like Nevermind, Whip Amani Webito, The Cannon Girl, Cupid the Cat, uh, Delta Task Force 6, Clown Rogue Assassin, and of course the Mysterious Exorcist one shots. So I have to give love to that too because that is the main audience, that is the bread and butter. So sometimes I have to sacrifice time for doing one thing to put into the other. And of course, I am working on some very cool stuff, some secret commissions that will hopefully blow your guys' minds and make you go, oh, ah. I'm sorry I can't really talk about them much, pesky NDAs, non disclosure agreements, but you'll see it when you see it. Believe me, I'll probably make a trailer and play it 1,000 times for all of you people. So, um, Acts of Vengeance, the story behind the story. Actually, give me one brief second. I need to get the charger for my laptop real quick. I thought I had it here, but I don't. The laptop is about to die, and I don't want it to die midstream. Um, Speaking of that trailer, just so that there's no sound at all, let's watch this one more time. Hello, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry about that. Like, it seems like every live stream something happens that there's like a bit of a awkward silence. This time it was totally my fault. I thought that the charger for my laptop was here. I thought my laptop was charging, but it was not. And as many of you guys know, sometimes I have to switch locations for personal reasons, and I kind of left my charger behind, and the battery on this laptop only lasts so many so much time. So, the laptop had died on me all of a sudden. So here we are back again, and that's one of the reasons I am doing secret commissions. Ooh ah, throwing out into the universe, getting a new MacBook. Anyway, secret commissions that will hopefully be coming out soon. And like I said, I'm going to be playing until you guys get nauseous. A lot of trailers, like I do with the of Rip Peterson, the Mighty Warlord trailer. Now, where I was before, Acts of Vengeance, the story behind the story. Now, with each week, I want to kind of dissect a little bit more the method to my madness, and kind of also interweave that with the actual um rules and regulations we all put on ourselves to do our individual kickstarters. One of those rules was, creating something new. um Especially because in my case it would have been kind of unfair to kind of have a leg up on everyone else, because I already have established properties and other things that I had promoted already, which would give an unfair advantage in the sense that if somebody, a particular audience was like expecting like warlord material, for example, I could have like probably done a Kickstarter for instead of like the individual issues of Warlord, for people to have the first trade of Warlord, like issues 1 through 4, including the prologue, webisodes, and the side story, complimentary material, behind the scenes stuff, and um, it still wouldn't guarantee they would fund, but people know Warlord most than any of the things that I've done. And again, Chag, it's been a few years since he's done his thing. Crazy Knight hasn't really published anything just yet, so it would be kind of unfair to like unleash like my most well-known IP out there, you know, against two other IPs that people aren't necessarily going to no, since it's going to be from scratch pretty much. So that means Brett Peterson, the Mighty Warlord, that is out, you know. And the same would be for something like Hell Beneath You. Now, Hell Beneath You is this um horror thriller story that I started doing just before the pandemic hit, oddly enough, actually. And a lot of people were actually pretty hyped with this series. As you can see here, these were like the first two promotional teasers that I had released back then. These are two of the main characters. It is a family, and these are the parents. They are the pretty much the main protagonists of this story. I don't want to go too much into this story. Let's just say that it's a family that goes through a tragedy, and they move away to go elsewhere to kind of like heal and come together as a family again. And a whole lot of strange things start happening in their new abode. So those are the two main characters. This is the father in a particular scene from that story, which of course I'm trying not to spoil too much. And of course that's the daughter. She's a teenage daughter. She's in high school. So there's like a lot of like, the parent stuff. She's kind of like in a rebellious kind of phase, also. So that tragedy strikes everyone very deeply, especially the individual reactions to that tragedy, and that is another part of the family, another member. I'm not going to go too much into details with this character. Um, you see this character twice kind of flipped, and also the lettering in the title itself is flipped as well. That is all done with a purpose, and when people actually read the story, you will get it. I promise you. And when I say that, I don't mean that you're going to find out like 20 issues later or something like that. There's a very specific reason for it that will happen relatively um early into the comic book. The original plan was to do like a 8 issue maxi series of this story, so it has like its beginning, middle, and finite ending, at least for this story anyway. And especially this final image right here, a lot of people were like, "Man, we really want to read this." And again, since this was something that was already put out in the consciousness, consciousness that was put in the minds of people already, since I put it out there, it will be kind of unfair as well, because it was gaining quite a bit of traction, especially for what I'm doing. Actually, when I was uploading these images to Facebook and websites, there were times that they were getting more hits, clicks, and views than Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord itself. So it was gaining a lot of traction and popularity, and especially after it was kind of like the basis of the a video series that I do every other year of 100 days of making comics, which is a challenge where you work on your comic book project or projects for 100 days straight, and you document those 100 days. And some people choose to do it as a vlog, either daily or weekly, monthly, or they choose to do blogs like traditional typed out blogs with pictures and whatnot. And other people do it as simply as Facebook updates and Twitter updates. There's no one particular method of doing it. Not many people do it anymore. I'm one of the few that actually still does it every now and again. It's kind of fun in its own way. But again, like the last time I did 100 days of comics, everything kind of revolved around this story. Those 100 days, like this was like the main focus, even though I also put other stuff in the um show as well. Show, for lack of a better term. Let me actually show the trailer real quick to that, so you guys can um understand what I'm talking about. Let me see. Everything got kind of messed up with the laptop turning off. I'm so sorry, guys. Pause it. Go back. If there's anybody left, feel free to tell me if I'm even still live or if you guys can hear me. That would be much appreciated. All right. That was the trailer I made for this particular 100 days of making comics. Right outside of a library. I scanned some pages for my comic. This is a recording for the 100 days of making comics. Hopefully, as you hear the fire truck in the background, I hope that's not indicative of how the rest of the day or the challenge is going to go. And the next one, the game for nothing against the Rockies, it was a very good game. So today was a pretty flawless victory in every aspect. Oh. So yeah, like all these little clips that your guys are seeing, they were pretty much.
the physical version,
Uh,
and if I sound like crap, it's because I am. Most of you probably don't know, but I'm still recovering from bronchitis. I
yeah, I'm always,
actually
there's
got
always
it.
something
But
happening with
anyway,
me.
this is
Anyway, all these little
100 days of
clips that
comics,
you're
so
seeing are like clips of
a little bit about the
previous
comics.
100 days of making comics challenges that I've done, that I kind of made like this collage to promote this particular 100 days of making comics. Oh wow, the old apartment. Holy crap. So it's again, it's kind of like a montage of um all of these previous. Oh my god, look at that lighting and camera work. Could it be any darker?
The tropical heat wave. The light box I've been using is this actually.
Oh, my hair was so long.
Out. I unexpectedly won tickets through the virtual lottery to see Fun Home
I have
last
not seen
time.
this in a long time.
And again, it was another flawless victory despite of all the things that happened. And again, like if anyone's going through any rough patch, any rough time, yes, try your best to roll with the punches, as cliched as it sounds. Everything will come to pass eventually. This too shall pass and all that. Try to stay positive always. Thank you for watching and catch. Don't be.
I'm actually gonna pause it real quick on that beautiful mug, that beautiful sweaty mug right there, because I don't want you to actually DMCA myself, thinking that I'm stealing content from myself. You know, but yeah, I guess you guys kind of get the gist of it. Let me maybe actually just forward it a little bit, or I don't know if you guys would prefer to like see the whole
By
thing.
my appearance right now, I'm actually pretty psyched that it's going to be the 10-year anniversary of my webcomic.
Oh wow, the 10-year anniversary back then of Rip Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. Oh, I used to love that song for the intro.
Where by now I am vacationing in Spain.
Yes, I actually was on vacation in Spain with my girlfriend that year.
If you can't see, well, I actually yesterday fractured my ring finger. Watching, it's been an incredible
That's one of the
ride.
most
It's been
painful
another
experiences I've ever had,
productive
breaking my
100
my
days
ring
challenge.
finger.
Hey everyone, Lance Danger here, and this is 100 Days of Making Comics Round 5.
Look at that
I
nice
haven't
view of the
been
city.
able to upload much videos lately, partly because I had a bit of internet fatigue.
My hair is
I
kind of a little bit
completed
longer than
all the
what that video
challenges
is
I
right
planned
now.
before, but I missed the deadline for
I
that
do not
video
miss that old
because
apartment.
I'm very hard
Not gonna
headed
lie.
and did not upload things to alternate places to save, like in clouds and whatnot. That I'm really the long road to hell. It's going to be the making of the comic book that I'm going to be doing. That's
Yeah, this one
already
started off
with
kind of like
reviews.
in the second apartment,
I will
and
get
then I
to it
think it
like
finished off in where we're living at right
really
now.
again. As productive as I wish it could have been, because again, my shoulders are not cooperating and whatnot. So I just got done
Actually,
with
that
my first
synth
round of
music you hear
physical
in the
therapy
background
this
on this
week.
video, I actually made that music.
And if anyone ever comes to you and just say, like, get over it, it's just an animal. Aren't we all? Alright, so I just finished live streaming on my shoulders today. 4 weeks have already gone by. 4 more weeks to go. I'm feeling pretty. If I'm blanking out a little bit, it's just a lot of things going on in my mind. I'm not gonna lie. This might be the shortest episode yet. It is trying to get a little bit better. I'm not like 100% yes. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted from my shoulders.
Yeah, a lot of emotional stuff happened during
I'm
those
sorry, I'm
100
a bit
days.
emotional. It's been quite a journey so far.
Yeah, because contrary to the other 100 days of making comics, this one in particular, I actually recorded the whole thing and edited it and then uploaded it to YouTube in weekly episodes rather than doing it vlog style, which is why I was able to put together that kind of trailer for it. It actually got a great response. That 100 days of making comics turned out to be like the biggest one in terms of audience and comments and what have you, that of all of them that I had done actually, which was pretty cool. So yeah, it was all around the making of this story. Actually, if you're interested in watching that particular series of 100 Days of Making Comics, I believe it was like 14 episodes or something like that. There is a playlist for it. I'll put a link in the chat or the description box later on. If you're curious to see the journey of how I came up with this story of Hell Beneath You. But now, boom, let's talk a little bit of what we all came for here. Acts of Vengeance, the story behind the story. Now, I know it's not very clear what you see here. This is a very old picture of a very old notebook that is no longer with me. But this that you see right here, oh, this is the ham and egger, my friends. This actually not. I'm not even gonna put lo-fi music on this one. I should put like. Let me see. How does Into Space feel? I'll allow it. This is the hot dogger. This is the creme de la creme de la creme. This is from the middle school notebook that I had. This even predates Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. That is the original Acts of Vengeance. And there, I believe it says like based off the original hit, because this was actually like the remake even back then of Acts of Vengeance. Because I had done the original like in seventh grade, I never finished it, and then like in ninth grade, I decided to work on it again and never finish it. But as you can probably see in the scribblings there, Acts of Vengeance. And let me pull up like an actual photo of it. Let me find it. Because you have to appreciate it in all its glory. You have to bask in its glory. Let's take you out and let's share screen. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can go ahead and put that a little bigger. Where are you, my little masterpiece? I want you guys to appreciate this. All right, let me see if I can expand a little bit. There we go. Act of Vengeance, the original hit. There is so much to unpack in this image. Oh my goodness, this is the most 90s kid comic book cover you'll probably ever see. Oh, oh my goodness. Uh, Let me put it back up. I accidentally, yeah, quote unquote, accidentally closed it. Okay, I meant to do this. As you can see, Prospecto Comics. I've always had like a variation of Prospecto Comics, Prospecto Arts. Even back then, this was probably one of the first times I actually started using Prospecto Comics. But yeah, again, appreciate that design, Vengeance, the way it was written with the E not completely written out. Look at that badge, or at least that's what I think it is. A police badge as the A. Really, it kind of looks like it's saying act of vengeance. It looks more like a V. Hey, it looks more like a pizza slice than anything else, really. But that just could be because I'm a little bit hungry. But yeah, look at let's just look at the composition of this beauty. You have a disheveled guy pointing a fucking bazooka right at your face, saying boom with the cityscape behind him and part of the moon peeking on like what's happening over there. Why is there a guy facing people with a bazooka and saying boom? You can't get more 90s than that, my friends. uh, I hate it. I didn't even sign it. I didn't even sign my own cover. But yes, this is the original act of vengeance. There you go. So you can once again bask in the glory of my comic book prowess, even back then in middle school. Act of Vengeance originally was pretty much my own Punisher story. There's not much to it. I just saw the original Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie with Louis Gossett Jr., I believe. And I thought, gee whiz, I really loved that movie. That was probably the best movie I've seen since Batman 89. And I decided to make my own Punisher style comic book. Um, I don't remember the main character's name. Unfortunately, again, those notebooks were lost to time and storms and hurricanes and floods. But the gist of the story is that he is a police officer who's lost his family. And by God, he is going to commit the ultimate act of vengeance of having bloody revenge and satisfaction by killing the people that put him in this family-less situation. I know, not the most original plot point, but goddamn, I was proud of it back then. Like, you would ask me back then, and that's like Eisner material right there. DC should have hired me like on the spot if I ever made that story and showed that notebook to an editor. So that is how my idea for acts of vengeance started. Because again, I was just kind of thinking to myself, well, I have to do something from scratch. I can't use Warlord or any of the other webcomic material. Hell Beneath You would have been a lot of fun to finally make the whole thing. But again, since it was already put out there and so much material had been released, and there was a public awareness, at least in the small audience that I have that, again, it would be kind of unfair to unleash hell beneath you as well, since it was starting to become a pretty well-known popular within the titles that I already had. So I was just kind of like thinking to myself, wow, I kind of miss like OG Punisher and the OG Punisher stories. Hey, didn't I used to have a story like that? And that's when Act of Vengeance came back into my peripheral vision. And I sat down and I looked at the cover and I was amazed by this handsome man pointing a bazooka to your face saying boom. It was very cathartic in a way, to see that guy pointing that bazooka to my particular face as I'm staring at it. Two great persons staring at each other, one with a bazooka and another with a, I don't know, a mouth like a Gatling gun, something like that. Chainsaw Man head, I don't know, but something along those lines. And I thought to myself, well, this is the perfect opportunity to do my Punisher story. Then, of course, I would retweak it and modernize it to what I had originally envisioned as a kid to do that story. But alas, just like just how I never finished Act of Vengeance back in middle school, the poor story is not going to be finished now because it evolved into something so much different than what it was, that it's not even the same concept anymore. Okay. Juan C. Martinez asks, Alvaro, did you ever draw a comic book based on wrestling when you were a kid? Yes and no. um I don't know if you were aware of this, Juan, but my moniker Lance Danger is actually from the old Nintendo 64 wrestling game No Mercy. Lance Danger, the name was birthed from one of the creator wrestlers. Um, Back then, my best friends and I, we all had Nintendo 64 at that point, and we all had WWF No Mercy because we were all big wrestling fans, and we all made like our individual federations. And since all you had to do was load up a memory card and take it to your friend's house, boom, you had inter league matches between everyone. So Lance Danger was kind of like my most popular character. He was kind of like a hybrid between Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and Lance Storm. That's actually where the first name came from, Lance, from the wrestler Lance Storm, and Danger, as in all the dangerous high flying maneuvers Lance Danger was going to do on your ass to beat you. Like all my other wrestlers were like so mid, like they would always get beat. But Lance Danger, oh, he always found a way to win, and that would piss my friends off so much. And my friends would do like these beasts of wrestlers. Um, there was like no in between. It was either a beast of a wrestler or a fucking ridiculous wrestler. Like, one person could have like someone that's like a mix of Rhino with the Undertaker, and then another friend of ours would have like fucking Pedro Rosselló as a wrestler. If you don't know who Pedro Rosselló is, he's one of the more infamous governors of Puerto Rico. Or do like um, the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, versus like a Monstrosity One and Caribe Warrior, and stuff like that. And then along would come Lance Danger, and he would take a beating, and just when they would think that their character was about to win, Lance Danger always found a way to win. And even when he would lose, it would be memorable because of the fact that he would take a beating and then all of a sudden do like a crazy spot that would just almost get him to win. And so the name kind of stuck with me. Like a lot of people just call me Lance. really, especially from the original like comic book scene in the 2000s, because that was like my screen name everywhere. And what I did in the 2000s actually was that when I did my very first website, I took that character Lance Danger, and he was like the mascot to the very first um website I created, using like Angel Fire back then. And he was like the main image to go into the website. The website was like this whole nightmare of black on neon green, uh, kind of like how my logo is here on StreamYard on the corner and the background. Something like that, but a whole lot messier. Very 2000s, very hip and cool back then. And what I would do is that I would do illustrations of Lance and of some of the other wrestlers, specifically the ones that were holding the championship belts at the time, like the heavyweight champion, intercontinental champion, women's champion, tag team, and whatnot. And my federation was called the Video Hardcore Wrestling Association, the VHWA. And I would actually do storylines, and I would type it out like a blog style on the website and do some illustrations. So it wasn't like a comic per se, but there was a storyline and there was artwork that would accompany the storyline. Oh, thank you. It was actually a very cool. It was fun times, man. I don't have that many friends, and even back then, I didn't have many friends. But man, those were the days. Actually, I don't know if you've seen it, Juan, but there's actually a video recording I did of the biggest rivalry in my federation, which is Lance Danger against the main wrestler of my best friend, who was called the American Bastard. And no, Chago didn't create the American Bastard, because we all know how anti-American he is. We're on to you, pal. We're on to you. Um, let me turn off the music real quick. Pause it. I don't know, Juan, if you've seen. Let me look for it real quick. Go into my, because I uploaded this quite a few years ago. It's actually one of the first videos I think I uploaded. I actually uploaded two videos, I think, related to the Video Hardcore Wrestling Association. They're pretty short. And I'm pretty sure the second video is probably gonna get me struck and not let me monetize this stream, but it's all in good fun anyway. It's not like I'm making $1 million off of streaming on YouTube yet. Let me see if I find these real quick. I know it's a wild tangent that we're going down here, but it's fun. It's all in good fun, I hope. Let's see. I don't have that many videos, really, in comparison to like other people that has been uploading. Okay, here's one of them. Right, let me pause it. Right, this is quite a trip down memory lane, Juan. I hope you enjoy it. This first video in particular is actually like a slideshow of all the main images I had done in the 2000s for my old website. The Evolution of Danger.
song as we lag and the hammer will drop. The new thing, charming stone, walking alone, finding a home. Represent, give it to the beat, give it to the beat. Patience is died, and we've opened our eyes, and we're no longer blind. The new thing, back with the dead, snatching of head, blood down the dry. Represent, give it to the beat. Solid the core, and we beat in the score. We know on the board. Nothing fake, break in the back. Back to attack, run in the drive. Left that dead.
Right. And that was like the slideshow um of the main images I had at that point of Lance Danger in my website. I should probably look up that website I actually found that website not too long ago. It was still active. Let me just go real quick and show the other video because what's crazy is that I actually it's I was so proud of this video that I did because I was able to integrate footage that I had recorded off of a VCR, and I actually was able to put in animation into it. Like, yeah, I did a little bit of animation. There's like two videos where I've done animation here on my channel. Anyway, let me go here. Like, if the first video that I showed you, if that didn't get this video demonetized, this one probably will. I really like it. Thank you for sharing the video. Of course, my man. Of course. Like we say, tú eres de la casa. You know, I definitely live to serve everyone that takes their time to actually watch these crazy things of mine. And this one is a WWE style video package. Um, this was because, of course, the big hype back then was probably one of the biggest matches of all time. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock for the title at WrestleMania 17. Probably the greatest video package ever produced in WWF, WWE. Say that 5 times fast. So this is how did I name this stupid thing? The legend, the myth, the rivalry. It's Lance Danger versus the American Bastard. day to make back then. Put this back up. Would you ever create a comic book based on wrestling from the 90s, similar to Now NOW? I have actually thought about it. There was one point where actually I was going to make a comic book based on these characters, but my plate just got too full. So I just kind of left it to the side. And actually, every now and again, I actually still buy wrestling games and still create these characters and still have them evolve into new storylines and new characters and whatnot. Um, but not as hardcore as I used to do it. That I used to do it religiously, like every week. Like I would have my own show and pay per views and whatnot, and then like the big mega events, which would be like when all my friends and I would gather together to like watch a pay-per-view either at my house or at my friend's house and like kind of like as a pre-show we would like wrestle with our characters and then after the show we will be kind of like pumped after the pay-per-view and like have a little nightcap with our characters. But yeah, I definitely had in mind doing a video hardcore wrestling association comic book or web comic at least centered around Lance Danger. But I guess I never found the time for it because I have so many projects as it is. Like maybe I will in the future once I knock out a handful of stuff that I'm working on right now and a handful of commissions as well. Hopefully I'll be able to explore that. But yeah, Act of Vengeance was basically the seed for this story. Again, going for like a Punisher type story, like there is still that sense of loss because that's um I don't know if it was even subconsciously or whatnot, but kind of like loss and loneliness is like big themes in almost everything that I write. Um Act of Vengeance again, like the original Act of Vengeance was based on this man that lost his family, Punisher style. Um, or even this video game. I can't believe I actually forgot this the name of this video game. That was like one of the first like video games that was like very comic book style. Um, that they're actually going to do a remake of that game soon. That Marky Mark did the live action movie. Mark Wahlberg was the main character of that movie. But anyway, he lost his family. He wanted revenge. He wanted to kill pretty much the gang mafia bosses that took his family away, trying to kill him and whatnot. And that's kind of like his voyage of, you know, vengeance and redemption. Redemption in his mind that he will never know peace until he gets all the bastards that killed his family. Which is probably like how I would react if something like that ever happened to me, to be honest. I wouldn't go to the ends of the earth if somebody ever um, physically hurt someone I love, in that ultimate way, and the way that he dealt with his grief by trying to replace it with the satisfaction of taking down the people that took everything away from him and then finally feeling peace at the end of the story of having accomplished that redemption in his eyes that he couldn't be there to save his family, but he took out all these people that won't be leaving other people without their loved ones anymore. um that kind of translated into this current acts of vengeance to an extent, only that it was mixed with a lot more elements that of course comes with years of yes living. I was like what 11, 12 years old when I did the original act of vengeance. So there's a big difference between being 12 and being 43. There's a world of difference. So, you know, you grow older, you grow wiser, hopefully, and your mind expands more. You become more open minded. You see all the good and the ugly in the world in the meantime. And that kind of molds like your creativity to an extent as well. So Acts of Vengeance evolved from this very run of the mill, very cliche Mad Max Punisher kind of story where this man, you know, tried to provide justice to his world, but the world took his family away from him. So he's going to commit the ultimate act of vengeance, which is killing all these bastards that killed his family. And that transformed into something a lot more complex with a lot more layers in this current version of Acts of Vengeance. The story that I'm doing for the Kickstarter challenge, which deals with loss, but in different ways, like not necessarily having something taken from you because another human was asshole enough to, commit an atrocity to someone else, even though there are some things of that in this story as well. But again, as I was talking last week, the main crux of the story, the thing that kind of um is the light fuse that sets everything in motion, is this kid that unpersons themselves in the beginning of the story, and that sense of loss and confusion, those emotions of what more could have I done to kind of prevent what had happened, and then getting mixed up in this story of being accused of harming this person, and at the same time harming another person that just disappeared that same night that your best friend commits a horrible act against themselves. So again, in the eye of this main character now, in contrast to the main character of the original Act of Vengeance, is a sense of loss, but not necessarily that the world took from him and that he has to commit this ultimate act to find peace. It's a lot more complex in the sense that this person took themselves away from everyone else. And you're left with this feeling of, what can I do now? Because anything that I do now won't bring that person back and won't bring peace to me, because I don't know what led this person to commit that act. And all these emotions are going through, thinking that this person was probably selfish for doing it. And then maybe going through the whole process of, well, maybe there were things that I wasn't aware of, and going through that process of, well, there were things that I wasn't aware of, but if I was this person's best friend, I should have seen the signs. And then you mix that with the sense of loss that the main character's first love disappears, like literally disappears that same night. Nobody knows what happened to her. So, you know, it's this whole whirlwind of emotions for this character. And on top of that, the town that he grew up in accuses him of these heinous acts himself. So, um, Act of Vengeance went from a very straightforward revenge story to a much more nuanced, at least I hope, nuanced and layered mystery, where as the story unfolds and as the mystery starts getting clearer, he keeps finding out things that kind of fuels his need to have revenge on certain characters, on certain people, because not everything is what it seems in that town, and not everything that happened that fateful night is as cut and dry as it actually happened. As you may have probably known from the pages that I read last week, from the actual script. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to like show you guys like the contrast of how the original story started and how it got to this point in that sense. Like, um, in a nutshell, Act of Vengeance was a product of, like I said, like the original Punisher, Dolph Lundgren, Louis Gossett Jr. movie, the Daredevil, Spider-Man, Punisher comics that I was reading at the time for the first time as well back then as a kid. And now that, like I said before, um you get more open-minded and you find other sources of creativity. Like I mentioned before, in this story in particular, Mystic River, one of my all-time favorite movies, was a big inspiration for this newer version of the story that it evolved from me wanting to do my own Punisher movie, well, not movie, my own Punisher comic, and it evolved more to like I kind of want to do my own Mystic River comic, in a, if that makes sense. And as I started going through the rabbit hole of watching the movie again to kind of inspire myself to do this comic, I also started watching another all-time favorite movie of mine, The Departed, that had to do with a lot of intrigue and betrayal and whatnot. So this is kind of like my version of the, it's my mishmash of Mystic River, The Departed, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I'll probably like dedicate a video or live stream or what have you, explaining in detail what inspired me from which movie into the script. And of course, I'll be updating more artwork and more updates on the script, which I've been kind of retooling in the last few days as well. Um, I'm going to definitely scrape some time to work more on the Kickstarter project itself. As I said in the beginning, I am juggling a handful of projects, personal and commissions as well. So I'm not able to dedicate as much time as I wish I could, but I'm definitely I'm slowly knocking out other projects, and hopefully this week I'll have a lot more time to concentrate on this story as well. So hopefully I'll have a second draft by the time the next video comes up, and definitely some more artwork as well. And wow, this was we went to very different places in this video this year, duh. And this live stream, let me go ahead and take this off. Actually, let me put do I even still have it? Yes, there it is. The magnanimous, the beautimous original cover of Act of Vengeance, there to behold in all its glory. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for hanging out here for a while. I do apologize for the technical mishaps. Again, this is live. Anything can happen. That's what makes this exciting. And I hope to catch you all again this Wednesday, actually, for Boricua Contra Todo. We're actually going to be celebrating the 5th anniversary of Heart of Valentino from Puerto Rican creator Orlando Cabrera. He's going to join in. He's going to talk to us once again about the Franco comics and all of his projects. It's very exciting. Orlando Cabrera is such a great kid. He's a great creator, great comic book and cartoonist as well. And it's gonna be great to have him on and have this celebration of this creation. Because 5 years sounds like a small time, but believe me, 5 years is a long time, especially if you're doing something creative. So 5 years is definitely something worth celebrating and sharing with everyone. So we went ahead and invited him to the show, and hopefully it'll be something fun for everyone. Um, Also, if you want more Kickstarter updates tomorrow, Chago Rodriguez, usually around this time, actually around 6 ish, 7 ish, he does his live stream for the Kickstarter challenge. He has showed Crazy Knight and myself some advances of some things, and oof, I can tell you guys it's gonna be a kick in the pants tomorrow when you see the stuff that Chago's been working on. That's not a spoiler alert. That's a fact, my man. Anyway, thank you so much, Juan, for hanging around and for tolerating the wrestling videos that I put from the Video Hardcore Wrestling Association. If you want later this week or something, I'll go through the process of how I made that video or talk more specifically about wrestling and all that stuff as well. You just let me know and I'll jump on that, my friend. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Also, remember coming soon, Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord, Truthful Comics Edition. Let's go ahead and show you that beautiful trailer again. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, but right now I got a man's gotta eat, even though he's broke. Catch you all next time.